hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty, this is episode 82. Got Colin and John on. How you doing, boys?
Still here.
Still here, living the dream. No walking like an Egyptian, or fucking letting dogs out, or
wanking
wanking into a sock.
Still trying to get it off the ball fucking things that I can't remember though.
Right, the first question for this episode comes from Neil McRae. He says, what are the buttons on the microwave there for other than the quick start stroke 30 seconds button? If you've used these other mysterious buttons, what is the largest or best thing you've cooked? That's a fucking great question, by the way. There is only pretty much one button on the microwave that you use.
Yeah.
I discovered the defrost function, and I've just realised that.
You're spot on. Fuck it. It's the most useless thing. You go, fuck it, I'm not just defrosted in the microwave.
So I read the I know you're right. I read the instruction booklet, and it said, like, depending on the weight, like this is like the setting that you put it to. I think it's for like different types of food. You've got Def 1 or Def 2, and I've just realised that's not DEFCON 1 or DEFCON 2. It's defrost 1 or defrost 2 function. But I started using that recently for like frozen leftovers, like soup or I don't know, like pasta bolognese or whatever.
I like that you had to describe what leftovers are as there.
Just in case you thought I was
What
eating.
other kind of leftovers do you have?
I don't know. Well, do you know what? I feel under pressure because you judge my cooking because I bought a store-made lasagna before.
Aye.
I
You
wanted
didn't
to
reheat that. You can't reheat
No.
them either, can you?
I don't think I can. Well,
No,
to
you
be
can't.
fair, like they didn't. Do you know one of the reasons why we get them is because it serves
'Cause you're
four,
lazy as fuck.
and if we've
Oh.
because we're lazy, if we've got like a couple of mates coming in for tea or whatever, it's just easy enough to put in the oven. We ends them off to bed, and we can sit and have a blather and then eat.
You feed your pal shite. That's what I'm thinking. Didn't he come to John's and says, what's up, nice to eat?
Do you know, since your criticism, I've got plans to make a lasagna for scratch. So if you
Oh, I haven't sent
actually
you the
if you've got,
recipe yet.
send me a wee recipe.
lasagna is easy to
Right.
make. I made a lovely one at the weekend. My daughter likes it, so I can often get instructed to make a lasagna.
Do you, just out of interest, Colin? Do you make your own pasta? Have you got like the pasta roll? You roll out the sheets yourself?
Well,
Do you
no
buy
one come down with
store-bought?
me, mate. It's no come down with me. It's all right. You don't get
Did he?
judged for that kind of stuff.
I've never done that. No. I
I
quite
would
fancy
so-
it.
so
it.
you
You go
serve-
to some of the wheel thing. It's like a wee sort of mechanical
Aye.
rolling pin to roll out the
I
pasta.
make,
I guarantee I'd fuck that up.
I make my own dough for pizzas, but I don't make pasta dough.
Do you like get the big chef's wipes on and start spinning it in a bit?
I do get the whites on. I've got an apron. I've got
Chuck it
various
up.
aprons. I try and do that a wee bit.
Have you got an
I try
apron?
and do a wee
that's
bit of
got-
that.
Have you got an apron with a pair of tits on it?
Have you?
No, I've got way various ones with different swear words on them.
Have you got one that's got a pair of comedy bum cheeks on the back of it?
I've got one that says "Dad is a Fanny" on it because I got that as a birthday present for my daughters. I think I've got one that says "I'll feed all you fuckers," and I've got "Prick with a fork." That's another one. That was my mate Neil and Sarah. They got me that when it was for a barbecue one year. I can't mind there's another one. There's sweary words on them, but aye. But I'll make my own dough for pizzas, but not for the lasagna. I'll send you what I've not got it written down anywhere. I'll write it down. I'll send you text you.
Cheers. 80295.
295. Matt says best condom flavour.
I've never ate one.
Can't try
But
one.
if you were, what
Stuart, do you prefer away days by train or bus?
we're just skipping that question.
Oh, how do you answer it, John? Like, have you? So, do you have experience of tasting condoms?
No, but if you were going to be on the receiving end, what would you rather be chewing on?
Does anybody actually use them like flavoured ones for like are they putting them on to give somebody a blowjob? Is that what they're doing it for? Like
Get a blowjob.
aye. But
Aye.
so they get the flavour of the condom. Like is that what they do? is that a
so
thing?
I would imagine so. They'd be, keeping themselves safe from STDs, not being responsible, you would imagine, if they were being a bit promiscuous.
They must still be a bit rubbery though, eh?
You can't imagine that. I think
I feel like a flavoured elastic band. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Do you think that elastic bands or rubber didn't taste as good as bobby? Because
I
that's
bet, like-
basically what condom manufacturers are doing, eh? We're like by
Yeah.
flavouring it, we're saying it's not as good as bobby. Like, so we need to do something else to make it a bit better.
Because you didn't get cock flavoured Johnny's, do you? Like,
Exactly. See?
Maybe that's the right one. Maybe that's the one.
maybe that's the way to go. Go with it. Maybe
What
we found
does-
a niche market for
What
it.
does generic bobby taste like?
probably a bit
You-
like piss.
You can have a range. You can have like just out the shower, just out the gym, which is pretty grim. Had pants on that were a bit too tight all day.
Aye. Just at the shower.
Had a stressful meeting at work.
More or less like vinegar. I think what the best one is, Matt. You text us in, Matt. You do some research. Do your own research on that one. That's no one for Shortbangers. Right,
Let's
Stuart
sleep on
says,
the 22.
do you
hot
prefer
summer's
away
day.
days by train or bus? You're like, John.
I think if you can get a baby on the train, I prefer the train. Train's more comfortable than a bus all the time for me. But trains to the football aren't really like a normal train. Kind of if you're going with your work or just away on holiday or something, it's not the same going to the football because you're kind of cattled in. Like you can't be trusted in that. No bevy and all that stuff.
The toilet.
So, aye, it's a bit. That's just the way you get treated because you're a football fan. I mean, they just treat everybody the same. So, and the bus gets you closer, eh?
This is
Train,
true.
you've always got to get to the station. So, as much as I like buses, I'll probably go bus.
On.
Cheaper as well.
I think most of the time, like I've had a couple of good experiences going through on the train to Glasgow from here. Like, I've got the Livy North train line next to me, so I mean it stops at quite a few places before it gets to Glasgow Queen Street lower level. But anytime I've got it going through to Glasgow, we've had a couple of cans on the way through, and it's been all right. I think for the further trips, say like Dingwall or whatever, we've got on the bus. And I think there's pros and cons to each of them. Like, say on the bus, for example, like, you try to go for a pish, it's just you're running the gauntlet of like, what kind of nick is it going to be in for the person before you? Is the toilet actually operational? Is there bog
Is there
roll?
no-
Like, whatever.
And there's usually one boy standing in the fucking stairs to the toilet as well, eh? Because that's
Yep.
his place to rally
To
the
hold
troops and
court,
that.
aye.
Aye. You're never sure if you can trust folk. Kind of like if you're going for a piss, you're going to somebody just going to stand and push the door shut, so you kind of get back out again. Things like that.
Did you not
Nah,
just
I
sit
mean,
back down in that case? So you just think, right, fuck you,
Well,
then.
I mean,
I'll
aye,
just sit
fuck
here
it.
all day, mate.
Aye,
I've got my phone.
got my phone.
You didn't want to be the boy on the bus that either blocks the toilet or accidentally locks the door.
Oh.
I've seen that.
Right, Andy says, were blinds just invented by a nosy bastard who hated curtains?
Aye. Sir John Blind in 1889.
So,
The- That's another top flight time machine one that nobody will get because they don't listen to it. But probably invented by somebody that likes peeping because curtains aren't as easy to peep. Blinds you can.
say that. It's just with one finger.
It's a bit easier, or even just sort of turn them like just
Aye.
almost open, just enough.
Oh, so you mean
That's
like
probably what it is,
the
though. It's probably hide the sun. Like curtains, you've got to either open them or shut them. Blinds, you can have them on a.
Aye, you can
three-quarter.
deflect it. Aye.
Aye, so it's probably for that reason. Probably stumbled across the right answer there. Sorry,
Fattest
John, what were you saying?
Pickus.
John
whose
never
birthday
answered
it
that.
is
He was
today.
saying,
Oh, do you want to answer it, John?
No, it was just when you were talking there about like the person that wanted to like nib at their neighbours were probably the folk that introduced the blinds or invented the blinds. But then I started thinking about curtain twitchers as well. But then maybe it was a curtain twitcher who thought, well, this is a wee bit inconvenient. I want something that I can peep out of, but also change depending on the angle of the sun.
Yeah.
The most pointless things you didn't get now is the net curtains you used to get. Like they were, I've never seen a house with net curtains for years. Not that I can remember, but fuck was the point? They pose no useful function.
There was probably a reason. I wonder if because of the wasteful people that we've become, I wonder if they originated from like leftover bits of fabric and folk thought, well, waste not, want not. So they hung them up in place of maybe curtains or blinds or something that helped keep the sun out during the day, but meant that they didn't have to close the curtains.
Doesn't it keep the sun out? So they're useless for keeping the sun
no,
out.
because but they're not all thin, are they? Like some of them are quite thick.
Was it to block the view a bit then? Like,
maybe.
Maybe it was to stop seeing your ugly neighbours.
I'll need to ask my ma, because my ma used to have it.
Hang a bit of nice fabric instead.
Your name is a net curtain.
What's that?
Imagine if your name was a net curtain. Right. Fattest Prickus, whose birthday it is today, as I was about to say there, happy birthday, Alex. Says, when seagulls do that wee dance to entice worms to the surface, why do the worms never realise it's not raining and just stay underground?
I think it's because the seagulls have an advanced understanding in mathematics that the worms don't have yet.
No answer. Because the seagull doesn't live to tell its pals. So it happens, the first one goes fucking weak away and the seagull's gob. It's away. It's no able to give a warning. So if the first one that had happened to got up and clocked it and went, fucking hell, everybody gets no rain, seagulls up there, then they fall for it. They would have been fine.
What if there was a wee worm on the ground, like the second worm? So the first worm has been weaked away by the pigeon, as you've described, and then there's a second worm underground, and he's hearing the rain dance for the seagull above, and all his wee worm pals go and check on Steve, make sure he's all right, and then up he goes, and then fucking Brian gets weaked away by the seagulls, and the rest of the worms go and check on Davy.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And the worms still never twig, like, where the fuck are these cunts going? There's just like a never-ending supply of worms underground. Like, go and check on Eduardo. I don't know where he is.
Aye. I wonder how seagulls discovered that was what you had to do there. You know, like how we're going to entice these worms at the ground.
One of them was busting on a pish, doing a wee dance. Worms came out the ground. And he went, fucking brilliant.
Although I'm not eating that one because I've just pished on it.
Generic seagull pish.
That was his second. That was his second.
That was the second one. William said, "Who's your favourite? Take that."
Oh, I'm going to go with Jason Orange, purely because when they done the tax dodging thing, he went right. He wasn't involved in it, and he went fuck yous, and he left them.
Aye, did he? I never realised
that.
He's never been back.
Was that the reason for it?
Never been seen since the tax dodging thing, and he'd never done it. He wasn't involved in the same schemes as the other three.
So was he pissed off that they'd done it, or was he pissed off that they had to let him in on it?
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and he was like, he shouldn't have been fucking doing it. I never done it. I'm out. I'll take my money and go.
Nah, he was the one that wasn't getting invited out for Sunday coffee. Fuck him, he's going to have to pay his tax.
Go to Starbucks, wouldn't need to pay tax either. But no, I'm sure that's what it was. I think if I'm embellishing that or no, but I think that was. I'm sure I read that somewhere or.
That could be the urban legend that Longbangers has been trying to start for a long time. That Jason Orange is morally
pays his tax.
Aye, pays his tax. He's a moral champion.
Jason Orange is famous in that, and he paid his tax. Can you imagine?
He's a hero for the people. Put him in charge of the Labour Party. Get rid of Keir Starmer. Jason Orange for Prime Minister.
I was going to say, we Mark, because he had like a really shit solo career, but he did his best. You know, like he looked like he was really fucking trying with it.
Loved it. I
Aye.
loved it.
It was.
It's funny that because he was one of the lassies fancied, and then when he went solo, they went, "Nah, we like Robbie better now."
You
Actually,
thought he would have been laughing with it, but it wasn't. Look, take this charger out. So that would have been my answer, but I actually like your answer better, Colin, because
thanks.
I like morally upstanding people, so and no tax dodgers.
Who's yours then, John? Robbie? Who's left? Gary and Howard, eh?
Aye.
Definitely no Gary, because there was the story about him where he was there no something to do with like telephone lines outside his house? I can't remember the exact thing about it, but he was basically just being a dick, and there was obviously the non-payment of tax.
Well, there was also the Robbie one. Robbie had somebody famous beside him as well, obviously, like in his mansion, like his nearest neighbour a mile down the road, and he wouldn't let him do some house building. So they went to court, and I can't remember, it was another famous guy. It's like somebody in.
Was it Robert Plant? The boy in Led Zeppelin?
Aye, that's who it was. And they were arguing about planning permissions and stuff like that.
Like a couple of millionaires arguing about their houses. Like, if you don't got fucking bigger. In fact, is that a problem that's not beneath you? Here's a break.
It's a power play, isn't it? Though.
Aye, you've got enough money to get them done, innit? Just get them done, innit? You're paying all the lawyers for enough. Just fucking get a hitman, it'll be cheaper.
Fucking MJ Plastering in Thailand said pot noodle on a roll, aye or no?
Oh, we done that earlier.
Super noodles. Pot noodle on a roll.
Aye, the same principle has to apply. However, I'd have to be really specific about it. You'd have to underwater it. So it's still quite firm when you put it on your roll. There would have to be Lurpak, and you need to leave your sachet sauce for when it's cooled, just so it's kind of sitting on top. It doesn't like absorb it like a juice. Aye.
No for me.
You having it?
No. The answer's no to that one for me. I'd rather just have the roll alongside it, like you would, like.
Mop up the sauce at the bottom.
Would you dunk it in? Like underwater still, but sort of like dunk it in to get some of the juices on your roll.
I've never done that, but maybe like soup, like you would with soup, dip it like soup. Maybe.
Aye. Buttered roll dipped. Lurpak dipped in soup on a roll.
Can't be Lurpak on a roll, Yeah.
Is Lurpak the official butter of Longbangers?
It is.
By the official, unofficial butter, just in case there's any legal problems. I can see Matty having kittens.
Nah, fuck it. If they want to send us some, like,
aye.
Well,
he'd rather kill the whole story than do that.
They're not going to. Imagine if that's what we got done. Kind of, we eventually get cancelled for fucking adopting a butter. So
it's right, because we're just getting the phone to Anchor or something.
We've had a cease and desist for Lurpak.
It's Anchor. Is it not an Anchor podcast? We should be talking about
Anchor. Aye, I was just thinking of butter. But there's Dan Pack. There's what's the other ones? What's the cheap ones that you get at Aldi?
Can't believe it's not butter.
Did Matty take you on your mandate to Aldi?
No.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
What? You used to fucking get on at me for fucking ruining
take them out, Matty.
Fucking aliens and that. And look at that. It's just my hope crushed in one fucking fell swoop there. That's never going to fucking.
There's Matty thinking he's going to get his soul.
There was not sexual, John. I just wanted to. I was waiting for that moment.
Take for some eat.
Have you never
that moment, right? Where they tell him how much it was. After his whiz god in the fucking line, and he's had to chuck it in his basket. And then
watch how fast they serve it, and watch how much money it doesn't cost you. Right, see you later, mate. Bye.
I'm waiting for that wee moment.
Is that?
He would have come out. He would have come out, and he would have been, fucking hell. Is that? And he'd say, that's right. And I would get at least 10 minutes of how much it would have cost in Tesco. Right, fucking, right. And then so the overall cost. And then individual items, fucking bar, Lurpak in there, £2.50. Dane pack in here, £1.80.
Do you ever do that? When you ever go to the Poundland or the equivalent, kind of like the Poundland shops and go, fuck me, that's only £1 for you're in fucking Poundland. Like, you know, fucking three Turkish delights for £1. Like,
I can't remember if we spoke about it on the podcast before, but there used to be was it Poundland or Pound World or something at Hermiston Gate. So we worked at.
We went over it when we worked out there. Both of us worked out there, mind.
Aye. Did we
Is
used
that
so was it you
Monday
used to go and look at
0.1?
if we look at the aftershaves there? No,
No.
we no intention of buying them, but with the names of them were amazing.
Like
So
Calvin Klein.
no. Dinner jacket. Dinner jacket for men. Fucking hell. You actually got it at the date. It's like, oh, you smell something tonight. What are you wearing? Dinner jacket for men. Can have that.
I think that smells like cigar and fucking brandy or something.
Nylon probably.
Disguise a sweaty bus ride on the 22.
Nylon with polyester. Betting disappointment.
Masking your BO with Lynch Java.
Fuck it. I need to next time I go. And I think I even came if I could do this pound shop is here. There must be one in the Kingsgate. It would like I'll go in and see if they've got aftershaves in it, and I'll collect some names for them. And then what I'll do is I'll give you a list of names, and you can guess. We can make a game of it. You can
Aye.
guess whether it's aftershave or fake.
Yep.
Right. 150k on Hamlin Hill is a hot dog or a sandwich.
No.
It's on a roll.
So-
A roll's
it's on
not a
a roll.
sandwich, is it?
It's on a roll.
On.
Hot dog roll.
Sorry, you cut out briefly. We're still on the pot noodle. On a roll
It's a
question.
hot dog. Is a hot dog a
Is a hot
sandwich?
dog a sandwich? Nah. A sandwich has got to be two independent slices of bread.
But
Or-
the hot dog bun is as well, isn't it?
Nah,
but
but
that's
it's
the thing.
one combined thing.
It's attached.
Although having said that, when like a loaf before there's been any human involvement is unsliced, and your hot dog bun would be unsliced before you know you've torn it open or cut it open, and if you've gone a wee bit too far, kind of pulled it apart.
Yep.
Ripped the heat off it, you might say.
A hot dog's also that thing in tennis when you play the ball through your legs, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it?
Aye. They call it
I've
that.
never heard that
Fancy
before.
If you're facing like the crowd and the net's behind you and you
Aye.
knock it through your legs.
Nutmeg. I like when you nutmeg yourself.
I said that convincingly, right? I started saying it and then I started doubting myself, but I think it is. It's definitely in my head for some reason that's what that's called.
Why is a sandwich attributed to two slices of bread in a way that a burger being two buns isn't? Or is it one bun sliced? You know what I mean?
One sliced. Yeah.
And is a sandwich just purely the domain of bread? That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I would think so. I think
Let's
after
go with
that, you're into rolls and things like that. You like burgers. Fats Prickers, what would your wrestler name be? He asked the question. I'm not asking that question to Fats Prickers. Just realised the way that I said that there might have just sounded like if he's listening, he would shout, "Oh, fucking brilliant!" and then answer. But you would be the only one that could hear it, and we would never know what you said. So
Talking of that,
See-
though, like, go on then, John.
No, I was going to say, so Alex today, when folk were wishing him a happy birthday, I think the one that I caught was, what was it? What was it he called? Leon. He said, oh, thanks, yeah. It wasn't skinny dipping. It was, you know how Leon gets involved in his cold water swimming?
aye,
It was something like, thanks, your cold water swimming fuck. And I said, oh, I was going to say happy birthday as well, but I'm really quite worried. My fragile ego doesn't think that it can take whatever it is that you've got lined up for me. And he called me the world's cleverest idiot. And I was really quite happy with that. And I thought that might be because Alex is a creative guy. And I wonder if Alex could come up with creative wrestler names for us rather than us coming up with them for ourselves.
I think he'd shout. I bet he could.
If he hasn't, I mean, I'm sure he's probably got them sitting there in reserve, ready to tweet and go, your idea was shite, here's mine.
Aye. What was that shit you
I've
were talking about?
I've not paid enough attention to wrestling over the years to have like a really good answer to this one because I think
I
wrestling
only can only
shite.
think of
Yeah.
three names I can think of are Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy,
Daddy.
and The Undertaker. That's the only three. Oh, Hulk Hogan.
Steve,
who
Steve
just used his
Austin.
fucking
Steve
name.
Austin. Was he one?
Yeah, I saw Steve Austin.
Was that
There
the
was
$1 million
another-
man?
No, that was Ted DiBiase. Steve
No, I'm
Austin.
not talking about the
so-
wrestling. Steve, $6 million man. Oh fuck it.
I tell you what I'm thinking right now, though. I'm thinking that you could get the guy with the chase who decides the chase names involved, because he seems to have any rules about things like that other people would worry about, kind of like the political correctness rules and all that kind of stuff. Because they've got a chaser called the Beast and one called the Dark Destroyer, which I'm pretty sure would be cancelled if you were to
Aye.
bring
The
yourself
Beast
call him
definitely.
that. It's all right on the chase. You watch it, you go, fucking hell, how did they call him that?
$6 million man with Steve Austin.
I was reading a book years ago it was written by a wrestler called Mick Foley, and he went under wrestler names Cactus Jack, Cactus Jack, Mankind, and Dude Love. And in his book, he was talking about Steve Austin. So he became known as Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I think he was part of a tag team called the Hollywood Blondes. So he jumped between like WCW and WWF, which might be like jumping between the championship and the premiership, if you like, down in England. But when Steve Austin was being brought over from WCW to WWF, as it was then known, one of the names that they'd come up with him for was Chili McFreeze. That was a genuine gimmick they were going to try and punt this boy as, and it's fucking ridiculous. Like, how did anyone ever come up with that? Like, there was so kind of like what you were saying earlier, Colin, about the boy sitting on the Ferrari sidelines with the headphones on, saying, "I went in for a pit stop. He's getting paid millions." There was someone when WWF creative offices going, "Chili McFreeze." That's what I can come up with. I'm getting paid millions for it.
I'll go for a lopsided testicle. Or lopsided scrotum might be a better one.
What's your finishing move? So with every wrestler's
teabag.
name, you need a finishing move. So the lopsided testicle is the teabag.
Aye, so you go for the clothesline when you run and you knock them down with your arm out.
So, lopsided testicle, is it like a half dip? Is that what we're calling it? Is that your finishing move?
You just hit them with one first. So you clothesline them so they're on the ground, and then you teabag, but you just with your left or right claw first.
You go with the short one first or the long one first?
Long one. That'd have a better swing to it. You swing it out like pendulum.
I know, but it could be like a jab in and like catch it with a hook. The second one. You know what I mean?
What about, you could maybe call it like the clackers or something. Like, remember that thing that like the plastic, like the two boys that would come back and forth.
Then they're like Newton's cradle.
That, by the way, that is a great finishing name. Newton's cradle.
Colin, did you pick one? Did you pick one, John?
No, I couldn't even think of one.
Something like that. I'm just thinking of the boy giving it on the big microphone, kind of like something like the ultimate sap or Big Fanny or something. Something like that. Alex,
Right.
this one's coming in. I'm sure it'll be better.
Alex, sensible man, you definitely will improve on ours. Fattest Prickus again. So could an autumn be reversed by gluing all the leaves back onto the trees? You'd need to colour them in as well, wouldn't you?
Well, how would it be reversed though? Just because you've put leaves back up?
That's what autumn is, isn't it? Like if you were to say what describe autumn,
well.
but that's not how you like.
It's colder, it gets darker. The leaves fall off the trees.
But the main feature,
that's another thing.
The main feature of autumn though is
it gets
the
darker,
leaves fall off the trees.
Oh, is it? All right, enough for me.
Aye, but is it no for the reasons that Colin described?
Aye, because
I mean, we can try and trick Mother Nature. I'm not for giving it a go, but that's a lot of people.
Loads of torches and that.
Aye.
Well, I'm up for giving it a try.
I'm also kind of hindered by the active crime scene, just like 150 yards away from me.
Aye. There's a lot of leaves away.
Like a big black bag, just like loads of stuff, put in the boot, just put in the boot. Kind of like, sorry, like a big black bag taped up in that with just loads of shit in it. Just take it to the skip.
Imagine me going out late at night now with a torch and a black bag.
Do it, torch, black bag, a couple of big bottles of bleach.
We're just going to be in queue and buy loads of that shit, like tape and that, like all that stuff. And then like when they go and checking all the shops, and they'll be like, John was in buying fucking big list of stuff, like knives.
Don't mind me, officer.
Bags.
Listen to Longbangers podcast. It'll all make sense.
Andy says, why has no one created a big fuck off heaters to stop it getting so cold at winter? Would also save a ton of money on gritting that.
Well, we're doing that, are we not doing that by ignoring the climate change? Is that not effectively what we're doing?
Effectively what's happening.
Aye, we're doing that. The government's looking after us, yeah. They're carrying it out.
You've got the heaters outside pubs and that now, eh? Like if you wanted to sit out at night, there's be patio heaters and things like that. But aye, it's no bad. See the bus stops, could they be heaters? Cold waiting on a bus.
You shouldn't be there that long though, really. You know what I mean?
No.
Why you shouldn't be sitting there all night, so.
But the teenagers loitering.
Hang on. How often do you find yourself sitting at the bus stop at this time of year, Matty?
Well, more often than I would have liked to recently.
Once.
Once. No, twice. I missed my bus home on Tuesday. I ended up working later. I was in the office on Tuesday. I was working later, so I missed the bus that would take me to the top of my street. So I had to get a bus to the parking ride, and then wait for the parking ride. It was like 25 minutes for my bus to come.
I'm going to double check with him,
freezing.
but my mate's dad's an electrician, and he said that a trick that he learned when he was younger, when he was learning the trade, I can't remember if it's 2 batteries or 3 batteries, but you have at least 2 batteries.
Up your arse today.
At least 2 batteries, and you have one positive side up, the other one positive side down, and you wrap them in foil,
stick one up your.
and you put them in your gloves, and they're like hand warmers. So not full batteries, but like batteries that have maybe started to run out, started to get a wee bit fucked up in your remote control or your Xbox.
Absolute fucking bollocks.
It sounds like absolute bollocks, but he demonstrated it. I had the batteries in the foil in my hands, and they warmed up. Electricians, if you're listening, tell me if you've heard of it. Text in 80295.
That's why they're on the big bucks, the Sparkies.
Aye. Because they can work in all weathers, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
He probably also knows the secret to time travel. He just never tell us.
Aldo says, apparently get a free pass at any celebrity within a relationship, sometimes 3/5. 3 to 5. 3/5.
Maybe a list of 3, a list of 5.
3 or 5.
Is this like the thing in Friends?
Like a list of who you would get away with shagging with no repercussions. For the sake of it, who are your 3 and why?
3.
Why is going to be obvious, isn't it?
Aye.
What's going to be obvious? What was that?
So who's your list of 3, right? That you could shag with no repercussions, right? They're allowed to do it. Who are your 3 and why?
Oh, why? Well, the why's answered by probably.
Well, the ultimate why is answered, but there might be more subtle reasons.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sound a bit uglier. Like, she's a bit uglier, but came up. She's got a nice personality.
Aye, exactly. Aye, she makes me laugh. I feel like she'll understand me. She's got pretty eyes. She would tolerate my bullshit. She would let me take part in a podcast once a week.
Who's answering first?
I don't follow. Like, I don't care who folk are in celebrity world these days. I don't watch care that much TV and stuff. So the films. So
who have you had a crush on throughout your life? That might make things easier.
Well, right. I'm trying to think. Like,
you used to like her in that band.
Sleeper, Lise Werner, that's just, was good. She was pro. And then there's a Star Wars film called Rogue One, and the lead character in that, she's dead nice.
Is she Welsh, the dark-haired actress?
Oh, I care she's Welsh. She might be. I can't even mind her name. She's got a like posh name. And third one.
Can't even give 3 folk that are tidy enough. That's what you're saying.
I've hit that age, yeah. Kind of hit that. If you're off the market for that long, you stop thinking about. Well, you stop thinking about it. You didn't dwell on it for long enough to make it interesting.
You answering this, John?
Can we maybe come up with like at least 3 amongst the 3 of us, like one each? Like surely we can do that.
We're 2 down already, so
Right.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Lawrence. What was she in?
She
Hunger
was
Games.
in Silver Linings Playbook, Hunger Games. She was in a film called Passengers with Chris Pratt. I watched it recently. That's why she's stuck in my head.
What about Danger here? I don't know how old she is. Michelle Keegan of the telly.
No,
She's 30 odds, eh?
aye.
Or early 30s, eh? Aye, so that's not bad. Yeah.
She's been 30 for about the last 20 years.
She one of them. Who used to be was me and my mates, a few of my mates. I think you came. We went to see. I got cheap tickets to go and see Jamie Redknapp's wife, Louise.
Louise Redknapp.
Louise
Nerding.
Louise Nerding, aye.
When she was Nerding, we went to see her at the Usher Hall. No, was it Usher Hall?
I had an album of hers. Someone got me it for Christmas years ago. It came with like a wee calendar, and it was the album that had Naked on it. That saw me through a lot of long teenage nights.
We went to see. Was it the? Aye, the Usher Hall at the Lothian Road. Aye, went there, and honestly, it was about 4 hours. Right, I got a ticket for a £5 or something. 4 tickets for a £5 or 5 tickets for a £5 or something. And we went, and it was just Fooey Bairns and that, and us 5. Like,
What do you do with that?
oh, terrible, eh?
Right, Ray, the Burr.
Did we get
The
3
Bird.
there? Aye, did we get? Is that a list?
I think we've
Done with
got
that?
3.
Aye, but it's
Did
a bit,
you have more that you wanted to share?
Any other concerts that you went to?
No, no. I just wondered if we'd answered the question sufficiently, but because you got 2, I think I said 2. John,
I had Jennifer
one.
Lawrence. I never really had any others.
Liz Hurley. She was good in the day. She's still good now, actually. She's older than me as well, so I didn't feel as bad about saying it. Crouch's wife's quite good.
No, I'm not particularly bothered. No, that she'd be. If there was if there was a footballer's wife's podcast out there, I'm pretty sure that I'm not on her list either, or that she's that bothered about me.
Big Fanny podcast, though, so you never know.
You never know. Aye. Very shallow question, Wild Way. Should be ashamed of yourself.
Not one man we mentioned there. Not one guy we sent between us.
Nah.
Have you got a man crush on anyone? So, like, have you ever had this conversation with your mates or between yourselves?
No.
Oh, you can say like they're good looking people. You can recognise when somebody's a good looking guy, but I've never thought I would tap that like aye.
Definitely no, 100% definitely not thought that. But I would acknowledge it. Like the boy, we mentioned him the other week, Chris Hemsworth.
I thought
so. He would be on Jane's list.
You know what I mean? He's on the wife's list, like top of the list. That's her number 1 on the top of 3 there, 100%. And Beckham's another one. Obviously, would be a Miss Folks list, I think. Yeah.
Oh, really? So on your missus list though?
Oh, I would imagine so.
Aye. Even though he's had like mad shit done in his face recently.
Oh, I don't know. Didn't care about that.
He's had like a facelift or like one of those chemical peels or something. It looks weird. He's gone a bit errand towards Simon Cowell territory.
Oh, is he? No, I didn't know. We've not had the conversation about the list either. The top 3, top 5 list. Never had that conversation. I would probably pick somebody that was more achievable though, just in case. You know what I mean?
What do you mean, like Sarah on accounts?
No, but it's a celebrity. It's going to be a celebrity, right? So it's going to be a celebrity. I would pick Scottish ones in that, just in case. Like, just in case they bumped into them.
Shireen Nanjiani. Here, Jackie Bird used to be on my list for a long time, and there's probably, I don't know, like there's.
Surely not.
Maybe not now, but definitely for a while. I've got a thing about older women.
Here, right. Can we move on to the next
McManus.
question?
He's trying to move on. He doesn't like this.
Right.
He doesn't want us to go down this
You
road.
get uncomfortable, Matty.
The Burj Khalifa is 830 metres high. Even supposing terminal velocity was achievable with such a short period of acceleration, then it would take 86.49 seconds to hit the ground. Where better would allow for the construction of Gallows to allow a longer time falling until death? What was for they?
So are we looking to put Gallows at the top of a structure somewhere so that you can?
Oh, yeah. With a nod to the theme tune, John.
Aye.
So we're hanging somebody off it. That depth, their head's got to come off altogether. It's got to be a total.
Oh, so I like it when it snaps, and unless you use the bungee rope, but then that's
Taliban territory. That
head's coming straight off, clean off, man.
Could you do it off if that's like a building? You could build it on top of like a mountain, though. Just have to have it like extended far enough out. Then you would get like a higher.
Aye. But then if you're going to build a gallows on the top of a mountain and you're going to build a platform, you need to build a platform out from it, surely, to release the trapdoor. And that's just a logistical nightmare.
Well, but again, this goes back to the thing, the question that we had the other day, which was like, if you had to choose the way that you were going to die, what would be the way? I was like natural causes or whatever. Yeah. Well, this one, if you're having to build your own gallows for it, if you've been sentenced, whatever it is you've been sentenced to, you've got to build your own ones. Then, do it when it's a logistical nightmare. That seems like the ideal way to do it, because you'd be fucking years.
And in my head, that sounds a wee bit like a flying fox thing as well. So you're having a bit of a laugh before.
Have a wee bit of laugh.
Mount Everest or something, just like
carrying the next bit of equipment over that's going to kill you. Come back. Have a wee bit of laugh. I never thought about that. Like, you'll need to ask your dad whether building a gallows and build them high, if that's got any relation to Jesus carrying the crucifix.
Probably.
He's an atheist, isn't he?
He is, but he talks about religion in his songs and that quite a lot.
But it's got to be a reference, right? Or I don't know, like maybe there's some sort of parallel there between the two.
I watched the thing last night. It came up on Facebook videos, right? He ended up watching shite. It was Michael Palin and John Cleese arguing, it would have been in the 80s, I suppose, about the life of Brian, where an archbishop and some fucking pompous cunt who were absolutely hammering them for blasphemy. Like that's a disgrace. You're mocking Jesus.
Blasphemer!
It's like, and they were explaining why it wasn't, and you're going, fuck hell. I think Michael Palin said at one point, says, surely nobody's faith is going to be tested by this film. Like, if your faith is that strong, a film having a wee bit of fucking joke isn't going to make any difference. But it was like you would never get like the most controversial things back in the day that used to be controversial. Nobody would fucking give a shit about. My Child's Play with Chucky. I mean, that was dead controversial. And that would never even fucking raise anything. Like all stuff that folk were bothered about.
Grand Theft Auto was for a while as well. I mean, nobody was a fuck.
The biggest controversy that Grand Theft Auto generates nowadays is the poor graphics and their trilogy re-release.
and the re-release, that's what folk got upset about it. But it's mental, like things that were 18 rated. Back then, back in the day would be like 15 or 12 rated now. It's mad.
I know, but I think with a lot of we've done it before, about kids being overprotected now and all that. Like in the old days, you get a text if your bairn kips one class now at school, you get a text telling them they never turned up. I mean, you used to go days, man, in the old days. Now it's like they missed 10 minutes of fucking art or drama. You know what I mean?
I bunked school once and it was at lunchtime. So it was like I went home after my lunch, and the teacher saw me going home. So I got caught.
Never done it again.
Never done it again.
Aye. Who do we get in trouble more often than you would like there back in the days if there was sent
I
text
think my mum and
messages?
dad ever phoned the school in 6 years of me being at Porty High ever. But see now, it's like there's folk on the phone to the school all the time about all sorts. My bairn lost his jacket and all that, and you think, fuck's sake, man, I would have just got I would have got my arse kicked for losing my jacket. You know what I mean? Wouldn't have been phoning this. Mum wouldn't have been phoning the school like.
Going to ask an office a month for it.
Find it.
Aye.
I lost a tank top when I was Grant in primary, and like you're saying, I think I got my arse booted for it, and then it turned up in someone's garden like 3 weeks later.
You
What's
got
it doing
bullied,
there?
like you were definitely getting bullied. Somebody took it off into a batter of fucking for wearing it. They chucked it over the fence, sent you home, and then you got your arse kicked for losing your tank top.
Fucking tank top. Got battered at school and got battered at him for wearing it and then losing a tank top. Carry on.
That's the sort of thing you wear it as a nickname for years to come.
To be fair, it was like 1987. I was in primary, like genuine primary school, just at like primary 1, primary 2.
I was thought primary 87. I never wore a tank top.
Right, also for Ray, is the consumption of all the whiskey in Tennessee a practical proposition, or would you be better off being in a lion's den if you had difficulty in understanding the concept of figurative language? Remember Stephen Gerrard getting asked about that, the lion's den thing?
Oh yeah.
See that interview? It was like the first Old Firm game, and they'd said to him, you're going into the lion's den. And he goes, it's not actually a lion's den though, is it? There's no lions there.
Is that right? And what did Luke Shanley say to him? He must have just went, fuck's sake.
There's no actual lions there.
Cheers, Stephen. See you later. Bye. All the best. Bye.
I've not got a lot of time for Slippy G, but I kind of get like I really hate those football cliches. Like it's like there's any other way to describe it other than lions den. Just like, and I think that's what we've been talking about before. Like football, the broadcast, football media in Scotland needs to improve and get away from the tried and worn out cliches that they've been using for the last 50 years. Like you've said it before, Colin, like Willie Miller's been retired for about 40 years and he's kind of been punted, been put out there as the elder statesman of Scottish football. Fuck off.
Well, I like to think we're blazing a trail with that kind of thing with our marks at 15 system.
Aye. Definitely.
Maverick. It's fresh, it's new.
It's definitely Maverick.
Did that cover the story when you used to work in the sick bit, when everybody used to phone in sick? And they went, I didn't feel 100% the day. And you said, what percentage are you feeling?
that was my favourite question. You don't know if I'm cold. You're at 40%, you don't know if I'm cold. What if there was 10?
Stage 4? What you scored yourself as?
You're 6/10 of the way to death. You're saying you're a fucking head cold.
There's a bit in The Office that I just watched recently where one of the regional manager's staff members slaps him in the face and he walks away afterwards in tears, but he's limping, and one of his staff goes, "What the fuck are you limping for?" I don't know.
For any managers out there, they'll ask that when somebody tells you they're not feeling 100%, so they'll ask them what percentage they're feeling.
Aye, definitely ask that question.
And then drop paper.
17%. I'm almost dead.
Almost. But the out of 15, Colin, it was one of the early episodes, John, where you said like, "Oh, it's like a solid 7 out of 10," and I said, "What would they be out of 15?" And there was just like silence.
It was a Monday night one. It was a Longbangers episode.
That's 10.5 as well. Like if you're 7 out of 10, you're 10.
How do you know that?
Just it's a sum, Just.
See, that's why you understand the concept of time travel, because you can do that math. You've got a better understanding than Matty and I.
No,
I believe in the possibility.
I would go that. Go for 10 out of 15. Pretty easy.
What did they say? Maths class.
Aye. That's all we can do, though. Like that. That's it. That's the limit.
You can do anything out of 15.
Right, last question of the night was to Dorlisa, who's relating obviously to the wide group of outside heaters ones. Why don't buses have flamethrowers attached to the front of them to melt the ice and snow?
I think you could probably expand that question to ask, why is it trains don't have something that gets rid of leaves on the line? Like something that just sits above the wheels that can scrape the line in front of them.
A blower.
Just gonna say.
Kind of like the folk that go out with
a
their...
blower.
Aye. That would
Or
work.
heated tyres. Heated tyres would work on a bus, would it? Instead of a flamethrower. Just like
Well, it depends, because you could create ice that way if you get like water. If it depends how cold underneath is and how hot.
Aye, so to
the
use
tires are.
the same example that we were talking about earlier with water putting out a fire, you probably need like a constant or a very extreme heat to melt the snow, or a very hot tyre.
We better put ploughs on it. Do you know if you made public transport all have a plough?
snowplow.
Aye, why
That would work, yeah.
why don't buses have ploughs? Why don't Edinburgh City Council invest in that, or any bus company for that? matter?
Trams. This
The
is
trams
back
have
on
ploughs?
Dragons. No, they should though.
Aye.
Should we
Aye,
go
that
back
makes
on Dragons
sense.
then again?
But then, does that not just clear the tram lines? Like, does that?
Yes,
That's not,
but
or-
the trams need to clear tram lines, don't they?
Aye.
So, I think we need to get back on Dragon's Den. So, what was your first invention? Was the
Fire
Extinguisher
extinguisher
bombs.
grenades. Aye, fire extinguisher
Grenades.
bombs. Grenades,
So what
bombs.
to do with heat? What to do with heat or melting stuff, eh? Heat. That's basically what we're
aye?
melting stuff or putting stuff out.
Almost use batteries and foils in the front of buses.
Oh, aye. That's heating. That's heating as well.
Aye. So we want £2 million for 10% of our company, but for that £2 million, you get a plough that was designed to go in front of buses and trams and that. Obviously,
and a
that's
weekly
helpful.
podcast for free.
And a weekly podcast for free, and fire extinguisher grenades.
That sounds fair enough.
Fuck off, you.
There's-
Right.
We're actually not going to have a podcast next week, because by this time next week we'll be millionaires.
If I get loads and loads of money, like say if we won the lottery and we had millions, I would say we still do the podcast. I'll just cover your wages for your full-time job.
Stay
See,
during the
they're
day
all
one day.
working. Aye,
Instead of fucking
will
half
just-
11 at night.
aye. Instead of sitting up till all hours to do it, we could do it at a normal time. We could put one out every day if we wanted to, or we could get lazier. It doesn't matter because you'd be millionaires.
So I'm not going to have to wank at us all, because that's what you're telling me. If you come into millions,
You
might
can still
be-
do that if you want. You can still do that, but we'll just be
They
better
come do it.
socks.
Fuck it.
Aye.
just
You'll
because you're
be better
paying me
socks.
doesn't mean I've just because
So
you're
you
paying
can
me
charge
doesn't mean
more
I've not
for
got
it.
my kinks.
Aye. That's my plan anyway. If it happens, I've said it's recorded now anyway, so I'd have to. Effectively, that's like a pre-contract, isn't it? So if it does happen, and you obviously, I can't imagine you wouldn't want to do that. We've all talked about what our second job would be. We only ever said podcasters because that was part of the question. We weren't allowed to.
We're not allowed.
Aye. Right. Anyway, 11 at night. Thanks for listening. It's probably not that time when you're listening. If it is, I won't have a wank. Right. Catch you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't